Top of that report released by federal investigators on the possible cause of the Surfside condo collapse. The town's mayor now speaking out about their findings one day later. Local 10's Amy Viteri joins us live with what he had to say. Amy.
Well, obviously the findings are a concern and that investigation is ongoing. We specifically asked the mayor about what those findings could mean for the sister property, Champlain Towers North, which was built around the same time with roughly the same plans. What we have been told by the mayor as well as the engineer working on that project is that many of those deficiencies they were already aware of, and any issues that do apply to the North building are already actively being addressed.
I think everybody in town in general is concerned.
An update from federal investigators looking into possible causes for the tragic collapse of Champlain Towers South. In an hours-long presentation Thursday, various deficiencies were outlined, from the strength of the pool deck and slab to too much water in the cement weakening the concrete, which was then poured onto steel reinforcements that exceeded the allowed amount.
The strength provided by the design was only about half of that required by the original codes and standards.
Raising questions for some about what that means for the safety of its sister building, Champlain Towers North, completed just a year later in 1982 with a nearly identical design.
They took two different paths. One building didn't really do the maintenance that was required.
If I saw anything that I thought was a danger to them in the building structurally, I would say something about them. I would say something to them.
Engineer Alan Kilsheimer has been investigating what went wrong at the South building since day one. He's also been contracted to guide the North building through needed repairs.
We in fact have concrete cylinders that we've taken that show that the concrete is within the required strength that was designed for in the first place.
One Surfside resident shared this video with us showing engineers reviewing the pool deck area at the North building, which is still undergoing its 40-year recertification process. That neighbor who lives in another building questions if the pool deck was such an issue for South, how can it not be for North?
You don't have any safety concerns based on the findings by NIST?
No, absolutely not.
That resident telling us pretty definitively she's not worried about safety. That could be because the North building is currently in the midst of a multi-phase plan to continue doing necessary repairs. One other thing that the engineer, Alan Kilsheimer, wanted to point out to us is for people to realize these two buildings were not identical. They're located at different portions of Collins Avenue, which meant they were different sizes. So there are some distinctions to keep in mind when we are comparing the two structures. We're live in Surfside tonight. Amy Viteri, Local 10 News.
Thanks for that update, Amy.